Schwep! Some weeks it feels like there's a lot going on, and the goodness of thought and creation flows all around. Here is a swirl of content, creativity, and curation. The menu for today: Schwep, that word, that insufferable Zoom call, A24, and Timothy Chalamet. Lore, a new platform for fans and their internet obsessions. Curated cuts, collector pain with KFC, WhatsApp India's short film, and the Bodkin show titles. Into the Machine, a fine conversation on where AI is taking us. Equator, a new magazine looking for global perspectives in a post American world. Plus, non-stop Simpsons, AI is not any tool, robot pregnancies, and AI is curating pop culture.
Schwep!
A24's brilliant Zoom with Timothy Chalamet. Schwep. Remember that word because it's going to populate them memes, I reckon. Why? Well, courtesy a so called leaked Zoom call between the marketing team at A24 and Timothy Chalamet discussing his upcoming film Marty Supreme.
Schwep! Like, we have to be intentional, relentless, aggressive. I'm thinking big. You know what I mean? This has got to be like one of the most important things that happens on planet Earth this year.
This whole call is so meta, so real, and so weirdly captivating.
Like when I wake up every morning, I think culmination, integration, like all of us, and fruitionizing, which is not a word, obviously, but fruitionizing the release of this movie, like really making sure it comes out in a great way.
It has been fruitionized like no fruition has fruitionized recently. I have no notes. Please do join this Zoom meeting, aka Timothy underscore Chalamet underscore internal underscore brand underscore marketing underscore meeting underscore Marty Supreme underscore 11.08.2025.mp4. Lore. Early internet rabbit holes taught me how magical it felt to not just consume culture, but to contribute to it. The internet has always been about rabbit holes. As students, fans, nerds, writers, or 100 other profiles, there has always been something incredible about diving into something that sparks our intellect or love or joy. Whether by chance or design, finding our passions, stumbling onto new ones, then slipping into a spiral of curiosity. Zehra Naqvi sure agrees with that. She is set to launch a service called Lore, which will enable just this: a search platform to research and discover internet obsessions. Lore is meant to provide tools Zehra wishes had existed, quote, when fandom felt like home before the internet became fractured and joyless, end quote. Lore is built for depth, not speed, they say. The ambition is to be a platform that adapts to our interests and helps deepen them. It will be fascinating to see how. A personalized graph of obsessions is teased with monthly reports on where users' obsessions are at any given time. Quote, imagine a place where the things you love are explored, celebrated, and brought to life with context and care. Whether it's a favorite Broadway musical, a conspiracy theory, or the lore behind your favorite athlete's career. They also released a cute little film for it directed by Joel Yoon. As the team says on the website, the platforms fans flock to weren't built for the kind of deep cultural exploration modern fans crave. Google gives you surface level summaries, ChatGPT hallucinates, TikTok is algorithmically limiting, Reddit is chaotic and disorganized, Twitter is toxic, Discord is inaccessible and impossible to search. Fans are forced to duct tape their obsessions across platforms, manually piecing together timelines and context. Lore fixes that. Big claim, but one to look out for. In curated cuts, we've got Complete the Set with KFC. You know those cute collectibles that fast food companies throw into the box to complete that nutritious meal? And the set which you can somehow not fully complete because it's a mystery box. So you have 9 pink unicorns, but not even one purple mermaid. Or something like that. Even if you're not a collector of such valuables, you could enjoy this spot from KFC in Thailand, drawing upon some self aware humor, absurdity, and controlled craft to connect with that collector soul. It's been directed by Bruno Bossi, with production from Taprod and creative from Bananas. The Bodkin titles. Bodkin, that enjoyable and amusing crime show set in the eponymous Irish town, has some equally lovely show titles. They are both charming and clever, appealing aesthetically and belonging narratively. Also, every episode has its own customization, little nods to plot lines and themes unveiled in the episode. Each image starts as one thing and becomes something else entirely, and all of them can be seen at the link I had provided. Titles have suffered from the rising belief that they form part of the friction that viewers must be divested of, so it is always nice to see some well crafted show titles. And 3. WhatsApp India's romance. Batan hi batan mein. Some feel WhatsApp hardly needs to advertise in India given how widespread it is, but the messaging service is always looking to bring more into the fold. This latest is targeted to the segments of rural India, where literacy is still a stumbling block. WhatsApp's voice and video notes break down the pretty real barriers that exist to texting. This is a short film, not really an ad spot, embracing story over form, a 9-minute vignette of nascent love. They also have traveling cinemas heading from village to village, organizing screenings, which I find pretty cool. It's been directed by Amit Sharma from Chrome Pictures, and the agency is fundamental. Zero Degree News. I wrote last week of the fragmentation of how news is reported and consumed, and the growth of the role of creators versus institutions. And here is the Equator, a new magazine of politics, culture, and art. Beyond the widespread lack of faith in mainstream outlets, the team behind Equator wants to challenge existing and perpetuated notions of global events, seen largely through a Western lens. As they say, in a post American era, the task of a new magazine is to engage the rich variety of this historical moment on its own terms, without compulsively asking, what does it mean for the US? After some initial missives, they've launched proper in October, and the first batch of articles are now out. The founders include Pankaj Mishra, Mohsen Hamid, Nesreen Malik, Samant Subramaniam, and Susie Hansen, with editing by former Guardian long reads creator Jonathan Sheinin. They wrote in an impassioned What We Stand For section, Equator is our collective response to a crisis that is as much spiritual and intellectual as it is political and economic. It is a venture that aims to create a more cosmopolitan home for thought and art than the one assigned to them by provincial Western periodicals. It also seeks to restore the dignity to the concept of truth and create a public space where the values of justice, solidarity, and compassion can flourish. This was a little film by Ito Barada for their launch, which I have inserted. As they say across the globe, audiences are abandoning familiar sources of meaning, searching desperately for new stories to help make sense of the world. They seek not just information but transformation, fresh ways of seeing that can illuminate the darkness of our present and reveal futures worth fighting for. We founded Equator to answer this longing. In a time when so many of us grapple with how we interface with the world around us, disappointment with mainstream media, lack of trust in our feeds, crumbling global edifices, I found this offering a possibility of hope, integrity, and a worldview worth sharing. As its first wave of articles release, in the coming weeks and months, we can see how it lives up to this ambition and to this promise. Playlist Into the Machine.
We are the chimpanzees trying to speculate about what the AI could or couldn't create. And I think that we should come with a level of humility about this that we're currently not coming up with. And if that was what we were about to do, you would think that we'd be exercising the most wisdom, restraint, and discernment that we have of any technology in all human history.
Tristan Harris has long been an articulate and thoughtful voice on how technology can be shaped for a better world. He founded the Center for Humane Technology, and you might know him earlier from The Social Dilemma, the documentary that strived to pull curtains from the machinations behind social media platforms. Tristan and the CHT team have their own very worthy podcast, Your Undivided Attention, on which I have consistently found clear-headed, well-intentioned discussions around the attention economy, social media, AI, and wider trends in tech, governance, ethics, and humanity. But today is a shout-out to another podcast that has Tristan on as a guest. On Into the Machine, Tobias Rose Stockwell explores how tech is rewiring what it means to be human and what we should hold on to. In this episode, he and Tristan have a clear headed, critical, yet positive discussion about AI risk scenarios, what we can expect AI labs and legislators to do in the face of AGI or superintelligence, and what can be done right now to ensure these systems stay maximally beneficial to humanity. Tristan says, the main thing that's crystal clear that people need to get, we are progressing in making these models way more powerful at an exponential rate. We are not making exponential progress in the controllability or alignability of these models. In fact, we demonstrably, because of the evidence that Anthropic has published, we know that we still don't know how to prevent self awareness or prevent deception or these kinds of things. Listen to this podcast for a reasoned, reasonable, and sincere discussion, shorn of any intent to have loud takeaways or just Instagrammable quotes. Quick hits. The Simpsons now has a dedicated channel on Disney Plus, streaming every episode ever in order, non-stop. Stop calling AI a tool. To do so is to participate in the project of rendering the body obsolete. Jeffrey Anthony consistently writes sharply and clearly on AI in our world, and I've linked to this little post of his. A Chinese tech company is building a humanoid robot that can get pregnant and give birth. Yup. Curation, a look at AI's role in pop culture. I've linked to a piece which says AI is reshaping not just what we consume, but how we understand it. We must ask ourselves, is culture too important to leave to AI driven curation? If you enjoy the color bar, maybe help fuel the next one. Buy me a coffee. There's a little link you can click to do that. If you've got thoughts, recommendations, or ideas to team up, let's talk. I work with individuals and teams on content and creativity. If you liked it, please get the color bar straight to your inbox and do share it with others you think might enjoy it. For something a little more eclectic and curious, there's my other bi-weekly Substack, Coffee and Conversation. Heads up, we are getting into December. Expect breaks and wrap-ups and look-backs. Till next time, stay safe.